G'day, Stephen Page from Page Provan. Since 1988, I've advised in over 1,700 surrogacy journeys for clients throughout Australia and at last count, 31 countries overseas. I've talked before about when, not if, you'll become parents through surrogacy. And I want to talk about the second exception to that. And that is if you don't have enough money. Surrogacy is not a free process. There are limitations on how you undertake surrogacy. And I just want to throw some numbers out there. And these numbers come from the sheer number of surrogacy cases that I've advised in, that I see how much people are spending. I advise on how much they're spending. And I don't just look at how much the surrogacy agency might say it costs or how much the IVF clinic says it might cost. I look at the whole journey. And I do that from this experience, not only because I've helped clients to go there, but I've done it myself. There is nothing quite like it standing at the counter of an IVF clinic and being told ever so sweetly by the woman behind the counter, "That'll be $3,000, thank you." And you immediately think, aside from having heart fluctuations, do I have that on my credit card? Is it there? So I want to talk to you about a budget. If you're doing surrogacy in Australia, you should be looking at somewhere between $30,000 and $70,000. If you're lucky, you'll get away with it for $30,000. If you're unlucky, $70,000. So I say budget $70,000. Most of that cost is the cost of IVF. The less IVF you do, the cheaper it will be. A portion of that cost, but certainly not most of it by any stretch of the imagination, are the lawyer's costs, and that's both sides and counselling. And it's hard to give a general rule because everyone's case is different, and it's also the case that there are different laws in each state, and they say what counselling should occur, and these laws are pretty tight and they vary. So for example, Victoria, there's 2 counsellors that are required before you go off to the patient review panel. In South Australia, there is 1 counsellor at the beginning. New South Wales has 1 or 2 counsellors at the beginning, depending on which clinic you go through, and 1 counsellor and 2 counsellors at the end, 1 doing an assessment, 1 providing counselling. So this just gives an illustration of, in those states, how the amount of counselling varies. But that kind of number, 30 to 70,000. If you're going overseas, the numbers go up. And the kind of numbers you're looking at is, if you're going to Canada at current exchange rates, I'd be saying 120 to 140,000. If you're going to the United States, then the kind of cost is between, at current exchange rates, 145,000 to 300,000, although one agency has a VIP option, I'd say 400,000 would be your overall cost. So going overseas has the complication that aside from being more complicated and more expensive, you might be committing a criminal offence back home. So I'll cover that in another video. Thank you.